And God created dipoles. And God created dipoles. I'm not really sure, ladies and gentlemen, if I shouldn't have put this in the theology element, but there's not really a Bible verse that says that. But the Bible does say that God created male and female. What's a dipole? Well, I've got in my in my hand here two very, very strong magnets. These are rare earth magnets. They're just really, really hard to pull apart. And I can pull them apart here. You can buy these. But this is a dipole. And that is that on one end of the magnet is north and the other end of the magnet is south. We just see that. Am I still recording? And now I believe God created all things, all the elements, all of the chemical reactions and everything. I don't have a problem with that. There is, however, an interesting challenge here. And this is following on from the Antarctica comment here. So if if Antarctica is a ice ridge all around the flat Earth, as Dave makes the point that it is, and my Antarctica video will follow on after this one, if that's the case, there is effectively no South Pole. Have you ever thought about that? So if Antarctica is a large round ridge all around the Earth, a big ice wall for which you can't cross for whatever magical reason, there's effectively no South Pole. Well, where is the South Pole if it does exist? All right, where is it? There's a North Pole, but let me tell you about dipoles, ladies and gentlemen. There's no North Pole without a South Pole. You can't have this magnet without a South Pole. It's no longer a magnet. Now this takes us to the whole compass question. So I'm going to pop some compass images on the screen here, and I'll come back to you after we've seen that. So this is the north-south. You see the north-south. These are the magnetic lines. It's a very no one disputes this. Nobody disputes the magnetic lines. And this is a magnetic compass that works perfectly well north of the equator. Doesn't work at all on the south side of the equator, as you can see in these photographs. In the same way, a compass that works in the southern hemisphere doesn't work north of the equator. A magnetic compass with a freely spinning needle in the north. So that's from a compass site. And you can see here, let me just confirm that's the last image there, the same northern hemisphere magnetic compass photographed in the southern hemisphere. So this is a different sort of picture. So what am I saying here, and why is this video important, and so on? Well, Dave's position is that Antarctica as a continent, as we see it on the globe, does not exist. And you can't circumnavigate it in the same way, though my Antarctica video is going to challenge that. The implication, though, is that means that there's no South Pole. I've heard flat earthers say this over the years. If you get a flat Earth perspective on this flat Earth map, you're going to have a big problem. A compass. Sorry, I've just lost my way a little bit here. I've been at this all morning. Let's start again. Compasses have to be purchased based on the hemisphere in which you live. In fact, they need to be purchased a lot more based on where in the hemisphere you're going to use them. A northern hemisphere compass is weighted on the south end of the needle, so because as you get closer to the North Pole, the needle dips down under the Earth and the compass will start to jam. A southern hemisphere compass is weighted the other way. It's weighted on the north end to keep the needle floating. Now, electronic compasses and compasses in fluid don't have that problem, but flat compasses do. God created dipoles. In order for there to be a North Pole, there must be a South Pole. Dave's cosmology does not allow for the existence of a South Pole. Simply doesn't. And this will lead us on to a complementary topic that'll occur in my testimony about the globe and distances in the globe, which is also very, very interesting. And this was the Pick Me video that, I wish that it was me who had a chance to answer that question. All right, so that's next. So by the way, God created dipoles. If there is a North Pole, there must be a South Pole. In Dave's Antarctica model, no such place could exist. I'm going to ask him on the map, where's the South Pole? How does it work? And that's really very interesting. Of course, on the globe, it's perfectly understandable. You know exactly where the South Pole is. In fact, airplanes don't leave the ground until they've identified the North Pole, even in the southern hemisphere. They do that by calculating the spin of the Earth, amongst other things. The airplane can sense, big planes with latest technology actually senses the spin of the Earth and its position, thereby knowing the magnetic North Pole. Very, very, very interesting. What an amazing creation we live in. So there you go. And God created dipoles.